Hey guys, Zepha here. Okay, yesterday we had a huge teaser drop for what looks like a brand new spell featuring the best boy ever, Dyvim Whitehart. That's right, it seems like we'll finally be able to fulfill our dreams of questing through the spiral with Dyvim at our side, because I gotta be honest with you, it was kinda heartbreaking leaving him in Khrysalis, okay? On Twitter, Wizard101 showed us a glimpse of the new spell along with the message, "Looks like an old favorite will be making a new appearance later this year. Are you ready?" along with the hashtag coming soon. The tease spell features Dyvim walking to the top of a cliff with his purple lightning effect behind him and then jumping down in dramatic fashion to slice an enemy on the battle circle below. I, for one, love the design of this spell, especially the beginning where he's kind of shadowed with dramatic lightning behind him. It just feels very epic and fun, like he's this mysterious hero who returns to our side to help us fight right when we need him. Since he's generally one of the community's favorite NPCs, I think this was a great choice on KA's part, because people are definitely going to want his spell in their arsenal. Now, the main question everyone is wondering is how will this spell become available and what variations or other spells will we be getting? Let's talk about a few theories going around. The Atmoplex have reason to believe the Dyvim spell and possibly other Khrysalis themed spells will be part of a Khrysalis lore pack, which will have themed gear and likely spellements which you can collect to eventually acquire the spells, including Dyvim. They've already data mined some of the potential gear icons, so we have an idea of what some of the gear will probably look like once it releases. The question is then, if Dyvim and any other spells are included in this pack, will KI also have options to farm for the spellements in other non-paid ways, like how certain skeleton key bosses currently drop spellements for some of the other old lore spells? Based on previous patterns, I think there's a chance we will eventually get non-paid ways of getting the spellements, maybe with a brand new skeleton key boss, but it'll probably be a number of months before we get it as an option. KI usually keeps new spellements locked in packs to encourage people to spend money to get them, and then later adds other methods, which is disappointing, but hopefully we won't have to wait too long for other options to earn the spellements. There's also a question of what other lore spells might be included in the new pack. For instance, will there be one for each school, or will we see other Khrysalis themed spells instead? In previous lore packs, there's sometimes only a few different school spells and not necessarily one for each school, so it'll be interesting to see what KI does this time around. The teased Dyvim spell definitely has some very storm-looking lightning effects, which makes me think this version may be a storm spell, but we have no idea what the other spells might be like. I personally foresee a few potential scenarios. First is the King Artorias phenomenon. What I mean by that is that the Dyvim spell is the main spell in the pack, and the animation will be recycled for all or several different schools, just with slightly different school-themed effects. This would play out the same way that the King Art spells work, in that it's the same basic animation, but there's slight tweaks for each school element. So the teaser might be the Storm version, but maybe the Life version has vines twisting around him, or in the Fire School version his blade has flames around it, so there would be small changes, but the core animation remains identical. This option has both pros and cons, with the upside being that then every school is guaranteed to have a version of the spell with Dyvim. Obviously, many people are excited to have Dyvim himself in the spell and would be disappointed if it was a storm-only spell, for instance. However, the downside to this is that it kind of feels like a copy-paste spell then, and we wouldn't get to see any other cool potential Khrysalis-themed spells. I'm a little worried this may be the case because KI only teased the one spell, but obviously we can't know for sure just yet. My second theory is that we'll be getting a few different lore spells, all with different Khrysalis NPCs at the forefront. First would obviously be Dyvim as a storm spell, but other interesting options can include other favorite NPCs or bosses like Sultana the Mirror Mask, Amelia Stardust, or even some of Morgant's warlords like Ghost Dog, Cravenly the Hunter, Santa Muerte, Baelor the Broken Fang, Archmagus Lorcan, or Lord Umbra. I really hope this is the option KI chooses, because it would be great to get some more spell variety and highlight some of these underrated characters who all deserve a bit more time in the spotlight. Obviously, the downside is that some characters are more popular than others, but I would really love a bunch of cool new spell animations rather than just Dyvim slightly tweaked for every school. Finally, there's the Lemuria option, which is to keep Dyvim as the central character in each spell, but each school gets a different scenario or animation, much like with the Lemuria spells, where each school spell is very different, but the old one is featured in each of them. I think this is a nice potential compromise between the last two options, where every school would get to have a Dyvim-themed spell, but we at least would get some unique animations rather than just the same recycled one with small tweaks. So, if the Storm version is Dyvim jumping off the cliff with lightning, maybe other schools would feature other areas in Khrysalis. Like the Life School spell could have Dyvim in the Last Woods scurrying through the bushes, or another spell could be Dyvim sneaking through Tyrian Gorge or into Sardonyx before attacking. There's so many creative options here. Whatever KI chooses, it is refreshing to have some new spells to look forward to, especially from Khrysalis, which had such an epic storyline. I'm genuinely glad our boy is getting the recognition he deserves. Also, for one bonus tidbit of potential news, people in the comments of the Twitter post were asking if we could get a Dyvim plush, to which Kyle, one of the community managers, responded with a shush, which maybe hints that we will be getting a Dyvim plush at some point in the future, which would honestly be amazing. Anyway, let me know in the comments what theories you personally have for any new potential spells and what other types of animations or NPCs you'd like to see in future spells. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and as always, I hope to see you out there in the spiral, and happy questing!